Shit! When the hell don't these things stay dead?
All of them, hurry up and neutralize them.
Globsters are among the most amorphous and unexceptional enemies that Jill Valentine and Parker Luciani will encounter during the events of the game Resident Evil Revelations. Originally members of the bioterror organization Veltro, Globsters are the result of the T-Abyss virus being allowed to run amok in the bodies of the infected, given the time and the environment to fully break down the host into nothing but a blob of compressed flesh and an ever-hungry mouth.
Ah, look at this mess. Oh, they're rotted to hell.
Skin so pale. I've never seen anything like it.
Use the Genesis to get a reading.
The story of the Globsters as we know it begins with an organization known as Veltro and their quest to rid the world of moral corruption that they saw as rampant in the modern age. For the agents of Veltro, the world had been tainted by societal evolution. Technological advancement had filled the beauties of nature with the filth of progress. Under this vague idea, a man named Jack Norman would coalesce people of similar thought and form this organization to combat what they saw as the degradation of humanity. A mission statement that would put the newly constructed city of Terra Grigia directly in their crosshairs, as its entirely man-made construction was a total affront to nature. Despite their desire to rip down this abomination, however, their meager numbers and limited capital left them with few outlets to express their frustrations. That is, until a surprise financier named Morgan Lansdale would approach their leader Norman with an offer. Lansdale wanted to expand his reach with the FBC, and would see the radical agents of Veltro as the perfect tools through which to do it. Using their fanatical agenda, he would show the world the looming threat of bioterror by supplying them with a new devastating virus and the means by which to disperse it into the city. Norman and his followers would jump at the chance, agreeing to the secret deal and boarding 3 luxury cruise liners owned by their benefactor. 2 of the ships, the Queen Semiramis and the Queen Zenobia, housing limited followers, while the bulk of Veltro occupied the Queen Dido. These deals and plans all coming to a head in 2004, when the bioterrorists would lay siege on the city, releasing the virus and a multitude of hunters into Terra Grigia, resulting in absolute chaos inside the once thriving metropolis.
But in 2004, Veltro, a terrorist group opposing the city's development, launched a bioterrorist attack.
As planned, Veltro would become the looming boogeyman of the disaster, while Lansdale would make front-facing efforts to save the city. However, while Veltro would celebrate their success, behind their backs, Lansdale would make his move. He couldn't have his newfound momentum for the FBC be disrupted by the information of his involvement in the attack. And so, to cover his tracks, he would make plans to destroy everything surrounding the incident. He would begin by unleashing the T-Abyss virus aboard the Semiramis and the Dido, Norman quickly getting into contact with him as it was becoming apparent that he'd been betrayed. Luckily, Norman had anticipated Lansdale's play and had recorded their conversations to blackmail him into compliance, but Lansdale was prepared for even that. Unbeknownst to Veltro, the FBC head had been working behind the scenes to get the necessary clearances to turn the city's solar satellite against it. The ensuing solar downpour would cause a chain reaction that would decimate the city, but it would also have a knock-on effect of sinking the Queen Dido, which was anchored nearby. With no recourse to distance the vessel from the blast, Norman and the bulk of his organization would sink into the dark depths below Terra Grigia, allowing their specter to embolden the victor, Morgan Lansdale. However, while Lansdale would assume them dead after the explosion, against all odds a contingent had survived. Below the ashes of the Aquapolis, the remains of Veltro would be left to fester in the horror they'd created. The T-Abyss virus that Lansdale had unleashed aboard the ship was slowly gripping the neck of the drowning hound. Monsters roamed the inescapable tomb as brothers and sisters were taken, dwindling their numbers every day as they were pushed further and further into the bowels of the vessel. For nearly a year, the members of Veltro would exist in this constant hell, infected and dying with no hopes of ever escaping. due to the conditions of the ship, be that its submerged nature or the length of time it had been there, the infected members would devolve into nothing more than sacks of flesh, broken down into crawling abominations more attuned to swimming than the traversal of land. Some of these monstrosities would make it to the surrounding beaches of the area completely unrecognizable as the people who'd brought this ruin to begin with. Globsters are among the most pathetic creatures that you'll encounter in the foreboding halls of the Queen Dido. Disturbing blobs created from the deformed skin of former humans who've been absolutely ruined by a virus they themselves set free into the world. Veltro was a wicked organization that would destroy countless lives in pursuit of their uncorruptible world. And for that transgression, they would pay a price. A price that was likely far steeper than any of them could have ever imagined.